Good day, everybody. This is Dave Fortson, your friend from Santa Barbara, California. Beautiful morning here. Just waiting for folks to file in. Welcome, Raves, pulling you up. Welcome, Pranav, good to see you. Enzo, good to see you. Ned, Staken. All right. So I think as we get going here, we've got today's host, Raves is with us, Executive Director of the Regen Foundation, a friend, a true regenerate. Looking forward to having her carry us through the morning. Welcome, Ed. Good to see everybody starting to file in. And just a reminder, if you are going to be joining us, to pop on, make sure you're on your mobile phone if you're hoping to come up and speak. We'll make sure we get you up here. Welcome, Giancarlo. Awesome. All right, Raves, I'm going to try you again. Pranav, I'm also inviting you up here while we're waiting for Raves. Welcome, Antonio. Good to see you. All right, well, we know there's definitely a lot of action going on in Regen Network development and Regen Foundation. We are getting ready on the R&D side and share a little bit. We're preparing for the launch of the marketplace. Quite an exciting moment, really bringing the white paper to life for the first time ever. In that sense. So really excited about that. That's coming up here at the end of the month, where you will be able to go to the regen.network website, be able to go right there and purchase carbon credits all on chain. Very exciting. We're going to be rolling out with city forest credits. These are going to be carbon credits that based on methodologies around urban forestry, which is incredibly exciting and with numerous co-benefits to humans and wildlife alike. So pretty excited about that. Welcome, Pranav and Raves. You're both freed up to speak. Take it away.
Awesome, thanks.
Yes.
Hi, Dave. Could you please make Paranoia a speaker and Naomi also, both of them?
Yes, you got it. No problem.
Thank you.
Raves, good morning or good evening.
Pranav. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, and thanks for hosting, David. It's good to be here. I know normally we've got Austin, Becca, and Gregory in the hallowed chair that I am figuratively occupying right now. But I am really excited to be hosting and co-hosting this space today because this is a topic that's personally really important to me. We've had peripheral conversations around this about inclusion, diversity, the need for representation in the Web3 ecosystem, and specifically how that might apply to refi and what maybe we can learn in the Regen Network ecosystem from it. And I'm really excited that we have a whole host of guests here who are pioneers in this space in various different aspects of their work. And I would invite them all to be a speaker if you're not already, and then take it away. Tell us about you, how your work relates to inclusion, diversity, Web3, and where you're speaking from right now. Which geographic region are you based in, and how does that relate to your work?
Okay, thank you. I can start. So my name is Naomi, and I am an iOS developer transitioning from the Web 2 world to the Web 3 world. I previously had a career trajectory that was geared towards helping smallholder farmers. I really wanted to enter the humanitarian world, help farmers and fix the root of the problem. And I quickly got disillusioned because with the project that I had in Ethiopia in 2015, because I understood that these problems are not simple. When you're in an academic setting and you just get a lot of theoretical knowledge all the time, it's very easy to fall into the trap that one problem can kind of be the solution for problems that exist in many different contexts, and that's so far from the truth. And so when I started to internalize that, I learned. I observed one of the farmers that I was trying to help during my project, and he had a smartphone. And so when I understood that, wow, he has access to a lot of the tools that I have access to, and there's no need for me to be here like telling him how to help his farm, because why the hell would he also listen to me? He doesn't see me with holding a shovel. He has generational knowledge that I don't have. I decided to learn how to develop apps. And so fast forward 5 years, I found the world of Web3, and I understood decentralization better and this whole movement. And I'm all about this entire movement and helping farmers with decentralized technology, maybe with apps. Maybe I'm going to try another course. Maybe my skills will apply in a different way. But yeah, I'm just exploring the space so much because I see the entirety of the potential with what we're dealing with here. And yeah, I'm really also adamant about including the feminine. When I say feminine, I mean more about the energy, like the compassion, the patience, let's like really distance ourselves and observe the problem, just like a mother would like parents do with their kids. I'm not a mother, but I guess I can kind of speak to it because I think what we need to solve these wicked problems is patience, because the problems are hyper localized, they're context specific, they're very complicated, and they need to be fixed. They need to be observed and experimented by the communities, the small communities that understand the people that are in their community. And yeah, I'm all about bringing the educators, the humanitarians, the feminine energy, if you will. That's all about observing and feeling more, right? The person that we're trying to help in the situation and trying to understand their problem. And yeah, that's my role in Web3 so far.
Wonderful. And if I may ask, out of respect for the diversity in the space, what do you prefer to be called? How do you go by? Is your name pronounced Naomi? And where are you calling it from?
Yes, my name. Yeah, I am. I go by her, she. My name is Naomi. You said it perfectly, and I am located in Utrecht, the Netherlands. At the moment, I've been here for about a year, but I've kind of been a digital nomad. Moved 3 continents and never stay in a city more than 6 months to 2 years. Global citizen.
Wonderful. Welcome, and thank you for that perspective. I also see that our other speakers are here. So if Yvonne, any of you want to introduce yourselves, feel free to do that.
Okay, can you hear me well?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. My name is Yvonne Kagondu. I am the founder of Kenya Blockchain Ladies DAO, and I'm from Nairobi, Kenya. And I've worked in the blockchain space for now over 4 years. Education-wise, I have a background in finance and certificate in software development, and I got into blockchain because I wanted to know the future of finance and the futures of the financial market, the capital markets, but also blockchain and Web3 came at the right time for me because I discovered it right after I finished my undergraduate, and it came just at the right time for me. And here in Kenya, for the longest time, our routine had been you finish school and you go into like years of unemployment because our region has been, for the longest time, there has been youth unemployment because of corruption and other issues in the country. And that was what I was expecting. And on top of that, at that particular time, I was expecting a child. And what I found in the space was that I was curious at first, but it ended up sort of saving my life. Because the more I grew in the space, I started off just attending meetups, meeting people, meeting developers, meeting and we were at that time we were very few women. We were very few women in Kenya who were interested in Web3, and blockchain helped me develop myself as a career person because it was so difficult to get a job here in Kenya. But when I discovered it, I was able to grow career-wise. I was able to make a mark in the space by just, what I focus on is communities. I started off as a community manager, grew into a community growth strategist, all from just curiosity and merging the two fields that I started from. And from that, because of how blockchain and Web3 impacted my life, I aspired to assist other women who maybe struggle the same, are going through the same challenges that I went through when I was starting the space. And I formed the Kenya Blockchain Ladies DAO, which is a sort of initiative for pioneers in the space. As I mentioned, we were so few earlier on, and we gathered together. We all knew each other, and we gathered together and we aim to train and mentor other women in Kenya and hopefully in Africa in general to seek opportunities in the blockchain space because there is demand. There's a demand for women. There are spaces that women fill the room and bring brightness in the room. I always tell the ladies in the DAO that, when you are a woman in the space, use your feminine to lighten up the room because blockchain is a very male dominated industry, which is understandable because it's I think because it's a mix of tech industry and finance industry, which both are sort of male dominated, so the combination of both has brought about male domination. But there are things that women do and they do so well, and that's how I started with, like, communities, event organizing, social media management. And we start off with training women on those basic roles, and we've seen them grow. Some of them grow into developers, others grow into community strategists. They are really making huge impacts from the small training that we do for them. So yeah, that's what I am about. And thank you for having me, and lovely meeting you all.
Pleasure having you here, Yvonne. And there's so much there to unpack. I'm eager to talk more. But before we dive deeper, we also have Sianoi. I think I'm maybe butchering your name, so please tell me how to pronounce it properly.
No, you actually pronounce it accurately. So again, my name is Sianoi. Thank you all for being here. It's also very nice to meet you. I'm currently located in Boston, but just like Naomi, I do travel quite a lot, especially because I'm coming back to Nairobi. I'm moving back to Nairobi. I'm taking full advantage of traveling around the US before I leave. So my background is actually in the social sciences, and just like Yvonne mentioned, I did also go through a period of dark times with unemployment in Kenya, and so I ventured out into like building communities to help or volunteer in picking trash in neighborhoods. I also tried to bring University of Nairobi and a hemp company in Canada to, combine efforts for research and development for hemp in Kenya, but the government the Ministry of Environment just couldn't even give me the time. So with all of that struggle and unemployment, I started to think maybe I should just find a way to get into tech. And I didn't know how, I didn't know what it would entail, but somehow I ended up being very interested in data science, although I had already been admitted into a master's program in the US in 2020. So I came for my master's. It was still in the social sciences, organizational development, could be very useful for DAOs. But I did also take up a data science and analytics bootcamp just because I still wanted to find a way into tech, because I truly believe that it would increase my chances of employment and just living a life with dignity. So I did that, but it was very difficult, again, to find a job because I lacked programming skills. I did I worked for 3 months for a crypto analytics company in Miami last year. And that was enjoyable. That was also my foray into Web3. But at that time, I didn't know the difference between tokens and coins, to be very honest. And then it was until this year when I learned about HerDAO, which is basically an initiative that aims to bring more women and those who identify as women or non-binary into the Web3 space through scholarships, through hackathons. I got the opportunity to attend ETH Denver in February, and that was basically the turning point for me into Web3. And yes, so with that, I met a couple of people, and I started working with a woman who's a founder of Black Cat, which is an initiative involved in bringing Black people, more so, and people of color into Web3, or those who are already in Web3, bringing them in front of investors and founders, Web3 founders and VCs in the same space to combine efforts in, building on their projects and, just having support in any way, in any manner, and just, expanding their networks. So I did that for a couple of months. We basically held these private dinners around the major blockchain conferences. At the same time, I was also traveling with HerDAO and attending hackathons, and that's where I met Naomi in Miami for one of the hackathons, actually. And now that I'm coming back to Kenya, HerDAO has expanded into Latin America. There's HerDAO Nigeria. So I thought, why don't I just start HerDAO Kenya? And I spoke to Yvonne, and I thought, I heard about Yvonne, and I thought she'd be a lovely and excellent fit for the role as a governor with myself. And I'm still actually looking for more in Kenya. And yes, that is me. Thank you again for having me here.
Thanks for joining us, and welcome all. We are maybe waiting on another guest. Anna, if you're here, please request to speak. And our team members here, Pranav, David, would be happy to make sure that you have the space to speak here. But we're so thrilled to have you here. And I not only say that on behalf of Regen Foundation, but also as me personally, because I know very well that there aren't a lot of non-binary people or people who identify as women in blockchain, and even less who are people of color, and particularly those who identify as Black as well. So I heard a few sort of points of what each one of you personally faced in your journeys in Web3. One is that, in Kenya, as one of and countries that could be an example in the global south, there has been a lot of unemployment, and Web3 is a potential viable career, but there is a need for mentorship and just more literacy, coaching in software development skills and so on to be in Web3. But I am also curious about, from your experiences in your foray in Web3 so far and the projects that you all are a part of, her DAO, the Kenyan Blockchain Ladies DAO, what stands out as initiatives that have worked well to increase inclusiveness and diversity in the Web3 space, and which have helped you personally that you would like to see more of?
Well, I can start, I guess, as an outsider perspective. I mean, I have Anna is not going to speak. She's located in Nairobi as well. She and I went to university together in Canada, and have taken the whole humanitarian space as our target to recruit into Web3. And we are starting in Kenya as members of the organizing team in East Safari, the first DeFi Ethereum conference in Africa. You should all be there if you can make it. I think that why Africa excites us so much, and particularly in the world of the feminine, if I can say, is that there's something that I've observed having gone to DeFi conferences in Europe and the US versus the kind of, I guess, perspective I've already been able to observe from in Kenya, having not gone to East Safari and experienced that all yet, but just based on the community, the members of the community, I have no shame in saying that, like, the degen culture is totally toxic. It's absurd. It's nihilistic. It needs to go. It needs to be overpowered by the regen attitude towards technology, towards finance, towards life in general, right? Because these things are just products of also the overarching scope of life. We need to bring the meaning back, because I keep saying it over and over again. We're going to become what we hate if we don't really make this the focal point, the values discussion, the focal point of our entire movement. Why would we have built something to become exactly what we're trying to fight against, right? So I see the potential in Africa. I see, especially Kenya being a very strong, dynamic economy in Africa. I see it as a solution for this values crisis that I'm observing, because of the barriers to entry being so much less, right? And then more participation from women will also come from this reality that there is unemployment in Kenya. There's a lot of hustling that happens, and people have this as their basis of life. And when you present something new there, you don't encounter this laziness, I guess, that I've been having to grapple with a lot, because the developed world, in quotation marks, is in this kind of pigeonholed paradigm of expertise, and when you get to your comfortable, secure place, again in quotation marks, you kind of don't have to pay attention to the changes happening in the world and the accelerated evolution that's happening in technology, especially. Like, I think this is exciting in the global South, and particularly Africa and Kenya, because there's just this excitement and movement that I think is much harder to encounter in the developed world, especially the US. Like, I've been to conferences in Europe and the US, and I really find this degen nonsense like way too prevalent there. And it's I hope it's going to change, but I really feel like I can help influence that from even getting to the level that it's at in the US, in a place like Kenya, because, you know, like, they are also on the ground experiencing the hardships of their community members. They're empathizing with their community members, and they see them struggling to accomplish various different things, right? Food transport, logistics for education, all these things that, you know, in the West we take for granted. Yeah, I really am hopeful, and I see the potential and the future of blockchain very, very bright in Africa and particularly Kenya.
Great. Thanks, Naomi. And yay for Eat Safari. I know a bunch of you are really, really excited. And our team member who is really excited about it, and I know you all know, Shaila, who unfortunately couldn't make it today, has also been super excited about it. I definitely hear what you're saying about the emphasis on values, and the opportunity here for both Kenya as an example of a country in the global South from blockchain, and also on the other hand for, if I may suggest, the refi sector to learn from the values that are culturally part of Kenya and specifically Kenyan women, to benefit the refi sector. I'm paraphrasing here, but feel free to correct me if I'm wrong there, Naomi. And
yeah, that's
my question. Perfect. My question is to, I think both Yuan and Sianoi, and I think Yuan, you especially have also looked. I know in Kenya, like in India, which is where I'm from, there are a lot of women's savings groups and affinity groups, and microloans and microfinancing is quite a big industry. And what we have been talking about recently is the intersection of gender and climate, and where these values fit in, and can build on these social structures that already exist. So I am curious to know more about all of your experiences personally there, and the opportunities that you see in the sector, and what the ecosystem can learn or should learn.
Sorry, just to confirm, you're talking about climate, or I couldn't get the correct question. Was it the groups, or regarding blockchain and climate? Hello? Okay. Let me just proceed. I hope you can hear me. So yes, in Kenya, and also many developing countries, here in Kenya we call them chamas. Women, our mothers from history, have been organizing themselves in community groups. And back in the day, there wasn't much, women were mostly housewives, and they weren't doing quite a lot, but they would organize themselves in these chamas, and would save together, would work together in aim of elevating their families, in elevating themselves. If you'd find women would build from this chamas, set up businesses from these chamas, because previously in the workforce, not many women were present. Of late is when there's been tremendous growth, because there's been a lot of effort from government and other institutions to increase women participation in various areas. So the Chama institution has been there for the longest time, and it's been working for so many decades, and so many people, institutions, formal institutions and centralized institutions have tried tapping into this industry. We've had banking institutions coming in to sort of ask them, how can we tap into this? Because there's a lot of money that circulates from women organizing each other with each other. Because when women come together and work together to attain a certain goal, I've seen a lot of progress and a lot of output that comes from this. So a lot of institutions have worked hard to tap into this, and a lot of recently we had our general elections in Kenya, and a lot of politicians tried to go to these chama groups to influence them into voting for them. They were attributed to because when you target a woman, you target a society. So when we talk of blockchain and climate, blockchain, the impacts, when we separate cryptocurrencies from blockchain and try and leverage from the technology itself to tap into it, and climate, there's a lot of opportunity there. We haven't seen much activity in regards to climate here in Kenya. That's why I'm excited about Naomi's project when they come over for Eid Safari, which I'm hoping to see everyone who's on this space there. When we talk of items like climate, in Kenya, it's our main economic activity is agriculture, and agriculture is going to be an important economic activity in the near future and in the further future, because people must eat. People must eat always. So when you talk of climate, when you have global warming, what can we do in this industrial revolution? While leveraging from technologies like blockchain, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, and etc., to make the impacts that are necessary as we go into the next generation. And women organizing themselves has proven to be an important and impactful institution. So, yeah, that's what I can say about that.
Sorry, let me just interject here. If anyone wants proof of this in the Kenyan context, all you have to do is look at Wangari Maathai. She is one of Kenya's most historically famous and I guess renowned conservationist idols for this goal in the feminine context. She's really one of Kenya's an ecofeminism hero. I really recommend looking her up.
Yeah,
Thank you. I appreciate that perspective, and I'm sorry if I broke off in between or if I interjected. There might be a lag here on my end. I think that's really powerful. When you empower a woman, that's the pathway to changing the society, and the power and the influence of the women's group in Kenya is, I'm sure it will be very enlightening to those of us who are outside of Kenya. I have two follow-up questions. Maybe the one that I'll start with is the opportunity here. I mean, you did talk about if we were to separate out cryptocurrencies from blockchain and just the potential of what DAOs could look like if they were based on the incredibly powerful and impactful women's groups that already exist. What would that look like, and how can that be beneficial to the livelihood and the agricultural sector? There is a question I have. And to preface this, I'm going to add some context in terms of the lens that I come from the Regen Foundation perspective. We have a program called the Endowment Program, where 30% of the Regen tokens in Regen Network is reserved to be given away as grants to the underrepresented in the community. So essentially they co-own and they co-govern Regen Network, and we've had, you'll see details on our recent cohort and so on. And what we are really passionate about is making sure that communities on the ground, the ones who are doing the work in terms of planetary health and climate, and who are climate warriors on the ground, really are able to benefit from the network and from this program, right? As part of this, we also have community staking DAOs, where we bring communities on chain and give them a bunch of Regen tokens that are locked as grants, but they get to keep the staking rewards from them. So, so essentially a community owns the staking pool. And to me, I know this is socially very similar to women's savings groups in India, because you pull together a bunch of money, and even if that's not tokens, it's commonly understood that the money doesn't belong to anyone in particular, but belongs to everyone collectively and is used when there is a particular member in need, or as a means to get loans for each one of them when any one of them might not be credit worthy. So I am curious about the potential for adapting this into the structure of DAOs and what you all think about it. Or if you have seen examples that can be inspiring and motivating and an opportunity that the Web3 ecosystem can learn from.
Yeah, maybe I could start by, in as much as the Chama system has, the women groups have been a powerful tool. They, as any other institution, are not perfect. If you're practically there, if you participate in one, you tend to see some challenges that happen within. Like, for example, you'd find I've had cases of a treasurer escaping with people's money. You find cases of people have to contribute, but you find someone is in the group but is sort of a joyrider. And blockchain, while talking about separating it from cryptocurrencies, is a means of making the Chama system more efficient, more effective. And what you've talked about regarding the tokens, that's actually a very powerful and beneficial program that you are discussing, it has great potential in this region because right now there has been a need of community tokens because since I've been having a couple of issues over the past couple of years because of what's happening in the economy globally. There's been a lot of inflation in African countries. There's been every day, like I remember 2 days ago I checked the USD to Kenya rate was 119.4. When you go to today it's 119.9. Every day there's high inflation that's ongoing right now, and it's when we talk of community currencies, how could they impact them? The world is really evolving and the finance institution is really evolving, and we have to adapt with current times. And us as women who are a pillar of society, we have a task, we have a mandate to see what direction this will go. That's looking forward to seeing this launch in Kenya and how we can implement it with our DAO. We say we are at Chama, our DAO, the Kenya Blockchain Ladies DAO, because we are an organized group, and we get our motivation from our mothers who would participate in chamas to empower the families that we grew up in. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that launch in Kenya and how we can implement it, hopefully starting with us.
Yvonne, also bring up your efforts on translating blockchain education into local languages, because this is also very important.
Oh, yes. Yeah. In Africa, in Kenya, for starters, we have so many languages. We have 2 national languages and 42 unofficial languages, and that's just Kenya. When you go to countries like Congo, there are 200 plus languages. So education is very important. I'm sure we all know that. Education. That's a word that's always thrown around in the blockchain space. So we want to bring it down, to take it home to the when we talk of blockchain, you can't really go to your grandmother and to your cousin in the village and say decentralized distributed ledger. You have to sort of break it down. We've been experimenting with this in the DAO. If you check my profile, please follow me. You can find that my first pin tweet we did a short TikToks are really trending in Africa and globally, trying to break down what the basic Bitcoin is, what cryptocurrency is, and we are doing this with the women in the DAO and the community, just to educate, because as well as blockchain goes and Bitcoin goes, there has been a lot of scams in our region. Kenyans, if you Google Kenyans and scams, you'll see Kenyans have lost a lot of money to scams in the name of Bitcoin. We get a lot of people coming in, especially during a bull market in 2017 and last year during the bull market. There was a lot of when the market was rising so fast, and mostly it's not even Kenyans who scam Kenyans. It's people from all over the world who come into the country and steal people's hard-earned money. So education is important for us, and we're translating it to the basic knowledge. And when we educate the women, as I said earlier, you empower the society. Because the ladies in the DAO from all over the country, they go home, they teach their families about it, and the more people we reach, the more we're able to educate people. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me, Naomi.
That's amazing. Thank you. And we at this team, we definitely know how much of a struggle it is to translate, both in terms of language and culture, what blockchain is and what refi is. So I really appreciate that. I know I know you, all of you here also have personal experience with being a part of mentorship program, benefiting from it, and also helping run it for others. I'm curious to know more if you have any insights on the need for that as you see it in Africa, and for the refi sector and maybe the larger Web3 sector. And while you answer that, I'm also going to sort of give a time check here that we have about a little more than 10 minutes left here in our scheduled time. And if anyone's got questions, this could also be the time when you ask to speak as our guest here answer the next question here.
Well, as a non-Kenyan, but someone who has a great affinity for Africa, because I really wanted to live the whole, expat humanitarian lifestyle, because out of the purest intention, before I actually understood what was going on there, and I quickly changed to my plan. I think the idea of our approach really needs to change, and it's going to require a kind of psychological revolution, right? Which is what I think blockchain offers. It's kind of the external infrastructure to match our complexity in our own consciousness as a collective. And as a lot of our awareness of how we got to where we are right now has come about, and how do we navigate it, how do we fix it, how do we undo the actions of our ancestors that have created a world that is not fair for everybody, and how do we actually pursue freedom, right? Redefining freedom too. I think the core of our conversations in the space really need to frequently revisit these questions. Otherwise, and this is why I also I kind of distinguish the energies, right? Masculine, feminine. The masculine is more building, more action taking, more externally involved, whereas the feminine energy is more internal, more inquiring, more paying attention to our emotions that are implicated from our actions, right? And we're bringing that back into the world, because now there is an understanding that it's needed in order to fix our problems, that these wicked problems. And I think the conversation being around this topic is going to be our salvation, quite honestly, and we need to value it. It always comes back to values, like, why are we doing what we're doing? Are we trying to really understand each other? Because also in this globalized world, there's a lot of different worlds that are converging at the same time, and making space for this in this accelerated movement, right? Lots of different sectors converging, lots of experiences in the human experience, all having to meet each other at a certain point. We have to always take a step back and remember, I can only solve this with some degree of distance, and it's going to take a lot of awareness to accomplish that, and to really make it a part of our culture, because the nature of the industry is that it moves very, very fast. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Naomi. I don't see anyone else here asking a question, so I'm going to selfishly ask a question that is probably pretty relevant to us here at Regen Foundation. As part of the endowment program, and generally as well, one of our goals here is to have Regen Ledger itself be a measure of planetary health and planetary well-being. And we are very aware that this involves bringing in multiple stakeholders, people across different cultures, and like you rightly mentioned, Naomi, who all need to be at the same table, figuratively speaking, and make decisions in the interest of the planet. And that requires them to be able to step back, to be more aware about their own decisions, where they come from, as well as how that can impact the planet. And we have often seen that this is easier said than done. So I'm curious, in the remaining time that we have left, if there's anything particularly that stands out to you all, which would really be important in such a community to make space for where people who are, for instance, women and people of non-binary gender, coming from a country like Kenya or anywhere else in the global south, would feel welcome and would be able to bring in their cultural perspective that is beneficial to the others, feel understood, and be understood.
I could start. Maybe I could just say what we are doing, and also linking to Regenerati Network. Well, Bitcoin and blockchain has been there for, I think, it has been over a decade now, and there's been a lot of efforts to educate people about it and teach people about it. But when targeting a minority group, it's important to understand their needs. We meet a lot of people coming into Kenya, and because I've been in the space for a while, I've met a lot of companies coming in to say, we want to do this, we want to educate people, we want to take it to the grassroots, we want to educate the mama mboga, our grandmothers, but but still people are getting scammed. And so when targeting a new group, a minority group, it's important to understand their needs. For us, what we did at the Kenya Blockchain Ladies, we saw that the need was opportunities. No one wants to come to a class and learn about Bitcoin and blockchain and not know what they're going to do with it, because you come to a class, you're taught, this is what Bitcoin is. It's a token, Satoshi Nakamoto. And then at the end of the day, people go home and nothing happens. You wait for the magic, nothing happens. But when you come in with an approach, because what we saw was that, what do Kenyan women want? What do Kenyan young women want? They want opportunities. They want to provide for themselves. They want a livelihood. They want to feel security. Most women want to feel secure. So when targeting this minority group, we saw that what they needed was opportunity to venture into the space. So that's what we came with. We told them, we'll train you. We'll train you, we'll show you how to make money, how to make networks. And that's why it's important for everyone here to attend the Eid Safari, because you can be able to network and learn from each other, empower each other, and leverage and present opportunities to the locals. Well, also we show you the opportunities that are here in Kenya and in Africa in general. So yeah, that's my take when targeting like minorities in certain regions. First, we need to understand them and provide to them what works, what they need. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to also amplify everything Yvonne just said. One actual, like, non-technical example of this can come from colonial history, right? So when there were colonial plantations in a lot of ex-colonies, there were something also called counter plantations, which were the farms that the workers on the plantations were using, that they had to feed their villages, their communities. And often those farms were much more effective at yields, at crop yields. They were way better and more in harmony with the local ecosystems in terms of, you know, like soil productivity and health and all of these other measurables, because it was obviously like their land. They knew their land better. And this is just something that we can keep in our heads to remind ourselves it's not just for blockchain infrastructure and application. It's for everything like that we do in life. When we're in land that's not ours, when we're in a community that we didn't grow up with and we don't understand the way they grew up and all of their hurdles they had to overcome. And all of these things make for a much richer understanding that will in turn also produce a much greater product that will actually solve the problem. And from there we can build actually solutions for a hyper localized world with technology that is supposed to do just that, right? Provide an infrastructure for empowering communities in a hyper localized paradigm.
Excellent. Thank you. We're almost at the end of our scheduled time, so I'm just going to leave the space open for any last words or thoughts that any of you all have, or if anyone's got any questions. But it's been really a pleasure having you, and thanks for sharing your perspectives and enlightening us all. And definitely, if you would like to leave a plugin for Eat Safari and the need to have more Web3 events in Africa, do that as well.
Yes, everybody, please join us in Eat Safari. Sianoy had to leave for a meeting, but she, Yvonne, and I, as well as other women in Web3, are helping set a great foundation for Safari DAO to continue having amazing DeFi ETH events that we will all board the blockchain to a great party in Kilifi, which is a beautiful part of the Kenyan coast where there's a festival that happens every single year. So it's going to be a great event that encompasses fun and work and learning and community. And we would love to have Kenya be the grounds for the Web3 movement in Africa and for also the African perspective in the globe. Thank you so much.
Yeah, just to echo what Naomi said, we're super excited for Eid Safari, and I'm really looking forward to meeting and interacting with everyone here. And thank you so much, Regenerati. I hope I'm saying it correctly, and Regen Network for having me. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Been a great Regenerati News Hour. We will see you same time, same place next week. Thank you, Ray. It's nice to have you hosting. Thank you, all of our guests. Appreciate it. And we will see you out on the interwebs. Be well, everybody.
Asante.